started.
Okay, right. This we have done in the morning, right? Equivalent phasor diagrams. If we have to
Yes,
draw
sir,
separately,
as a
Yes, sir.
diagram.
this I said that this equivalent phasor diagram which I'm drawing here, we could draw it not necessarily along x-axis. Not reference need not be along this side. I may take reference in some other direction. Reference means 0 degree phase. 0 degree phase can be taken here, it can be taken here, it can be taken here. All these are equivalent diagrams. So means we are not interested in phases. We are interested in relative phase. So with respect to this, it should always be at minus pi by 2. Wherever it is, we don't care. Similarly, with respect to this, VR and IR will be in the same direction. Understood? What is important? The relative phase. Okay. And this is important here. You should know how to convert from line diagram to phase diagram to graph to complex numbers to 2D vectors to all these things. If one thing is given, we should be able to write the others. For example, if I give you one line diagram, amplitude is minus a to plus a, and here let us say we have minus a by 2 initially, particle is here at minus a by 2. Then you tell me what should be its equation of motion and going in which direction? Going in this side. I think I told you, I will revise it again. This is of phases increase. This is phase equal to 0. Phase equal to pi by 2. Huh?
That is a by 2. No?
That is, yes, sorry, plus a by 2, correct. Sorry, plus a by 2. And direction is towards the origin, towards mean position. So what it would be? I can write a by 2 as a sine phi is equal to a by 2. What is the possible value of phi? Phi could be 30 degrees or 150 degrees. Out of these two, which value I should take here? It is not going along positive side. It is returning back. This is first quadrant angle, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant here.
150 degrees.
150.
150, then we should take this. First one we are neglecting because it is in the second quadrant. We went from here to here, then it is positive first quadrant. When we start returning back, then it is second quadrant. When we go this side, third quadrant. When we come back again, fourth quadrant. We should know every quadrant. So when it is here, then it is second quadrant angle. That is 150 degrees. Right. You got this. And after that, I can simply one more thing I can say here. The fourth quadrant angle can be taken as negative of the first quadrant, and third quadrant can be taken as negative of the second quadrant. That also can be done. So this is called as line diagram. Now I can make a write a equation from this. What is the equation? Equation will be a sine omega t 30 means I think pi by 6 into 5
5 by 6.
plus 5 pi by 6 graph also we should be able to make. How to make the graph? I can make
From
by
1 by 2 it starts at 0.
it is this is up to this, it is first quadrant, 8 second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. I should cut it at second quadrant. This place I should cut somewhere here, second quadrant. Okay, and this value will be a by 2. This is x versus t graph. So while I'm cutting the graph, I'm cutting it at appropriate place, not at first quadrant, at second quadrant. Always think this is first, this is first, this one is second quadrant, this one is third quadrant, and this one is fourth quadrant here. Okay. So what we have done already, we have done one thing, second thing, third thing. How to represent, no, this we have not done. How to represent phase diagram. phase diagram. I forgot to add one more important point here. Line diagram, phase diagram, and equation is also there. No, one thing, equation. We have already done equation. This okay, line diagram done. Now come to phase diagram. In phase diagram, nothing we represent except phase. What we have to represent? Two things, phase and amplitude. So phase diagram will be circle diagram is also possible. That is also possible, but in our present case, we don't take circle diagram in AC. Mostly we are taking this are enough. This angle is, how much is this angle? I
Pi by
think 5 pi by 6. 5 by 6. This is 0 degrees angle, and here it is becoming 5 pi by 6, and magnitude is, let us write magnitude here. Magnitude is equal to A. That is the phase diagram. Phase diagram also drawn. In phase diagram, what we represent? Just a vector. Just a vector in 2 dimensions. It is phase diagram is like a 2D vector with one reference line, okay, which represents 0 phase. And that reference line can be in any direction. It may be this side, it may be that side, doesn't matter. Next is complex numbers. How to represent in form of complex number? Very simple. Very, very simple. Tell me, if this is a complex number, then how should I write it? I think, complex number can be written as Z is equal to A into e raised to power iota 5 pi by 6, right or not? Can we write it in this way? If I want to write, this is real axis, and this is imaginary axis, and this is in this side. So I think you know how to write it. We can write it as A into e raised to power iota 5 pi by 6. 5 pi by 6. One thing I want to make clear here, complex form. In complex form, we have two ways to write. This is called as polar form. Polar form. Another is A cos 5 pi by 6 plus iota sine 5 pi by 6. This is another way to write the complex number. Understood? One thing I do here now onwards, I will be doing it. I will not be representing complex number by I, but I will be representing it by J, and I will give you reason why. Actually, in our present chapter, AC chapter, I is very, very important, already very well occupied by current. Current stands for I. Therefore, I cannot use confusing notation. I cannot represent J also by I. I cannot represent the iota, this imaginary number minus the root of I. I cannot represent it by I. I will represent it by J. Is that okay? Understood?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
But it is exactly same thing. There is no difference. Only reason we are doing that is so that there is no confusion with current. Okay. So I think how many things we have done already. We have done phasor diagram, graph, equation, line diagram, complex number done. This is done. 2D vectors. 2D vectors we can represent. We can represent it as A cos of something along I cap and along J cap. But we are happy with complex number. Why? This last, I will not use it. Although it is like that only. Complex numbers can be thought to be like 2D vectors. But 2D vectors are not that useful. Why? Because the vector product is not commutative. But with complex number, I can use such things. Z1 into Z2 is equal to Z2 into Z1. Moreover, I can take 1 upon Z also. Division by Z is also possible. So the complex numbers has all the power of vectors, but it has some additional features. Therefore, which we will prefer for representation of our diagrams? We will prefer complex numbers, not vectors. Although we can take it like 2D vectors also. Nothing is wrong in that. Okay, understood?
Okay,
Right. So this is what we are going to do now. Now we have to check. We have to check what is value of IL here. Let us write the value of IL. Can you, if you remember, then you can tell me what is IR and what was IC and what was IL. This was equal to, I think, VR divided by something. VR divided by something and VR divided by something. VR by R, VR by XC and VR by XL. Is it right or not?
Yes, sir. XC is 1 by omega c.
XC is equal to
1 by
1 by
omega c.
omega c. But there
XL
is
is
one
equals to L omega.
and XL is equal to omega L.
L omega.
It is a good notation, but there is one problem with that notation. If I do this way, is it giving us any idea of the phases? No. It is just giving us idea of the magnitude, amplitude. It is not giving us any idea of the phase. I want to get idea of the phases from it. There is a way to do that. What I will do, I will treat this like complex numbers. I will treat it like a complex number. And I will say that if I put here, I want to get phase also. So what is the phase of this? Can you tell me what is the phase of that? Phase of that was, current was extra pi by 2 phase. What was it? Extra pi by 2. Is it right or not? Hello,
Yes, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir.
And do you know this thing? Rotation on multiplication and division by iota. Do you know that or not? Have you done complex numbers or not? First, you tell me
Yes,
that.
sir. Completed, sir. By multiplying I, we will change. Yes, sir.
By multiplying I, it rotates in which direction? 90-degree clockwise. And by dividing by
Clockwise.
I, by dividing by iota, iota means here I will write it as j cap. By dividing by iota or by dividing by j cap, it will be turning.
90 degree.
I think, sorry, did I say
Opposite,
wrong?
sir.
I said wrong, I think. This is anti-clockwise and this one is clockwise. This is z complex number. If I multiply z by iota, it goes this side. And if I multiply by minus iota, it goes that side. If you are confused, then a very simple trick to remember. I know this is real number. And if it is 2 real number and I multiply by iota, then 2 iota will be this side only and minus 2 iota will be downside only, right? It means we already know that when a number is multiplied by iota, it should rotate in 90-degree in clockwise direction and anti-clockwise direction, sorry. And if I multiply by minus iota, then it will be turning clockwise 90 degrees. Understood? Okay. So, very good. One more thing I want to say now. If I want to apply KCL, okay, then this is valid. If I want to apply KVL, then this is valid. As usual, you know already. But you may be thinking why I am saying this thing if it is already valid. But understand, this equation is valid. It is valid. What should I write it here? Complex numbers. I1, I2, and I3 are complex numbers. These are complex numbers or 2D vectors. Can we use a parallelogram law of vector addition for this? Yes. We can use the parallelogram law of vector addition. Not in this case, not here, not like that. We can use the parallelogram law of vector addition for finding out the phasors, net phasor, or the if I represent I1, I2, and I3 like 2D vectors, then I may be drawing some diagram. I1 may be this side, I2 may be leading I1 as compared by 90 degrees. Then what will be resultant parent? Resultant parent will be I1 square plus I2 square under the root. We can get that way. Or you just take these like complex numbers. Okay. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. But one thing I want to stress on this here, this is one thing, either or I1 comma I2 and I3 are instantaneous. Wait a second, wait. I think I should say if I1, I2 and I3 are. If these are current amplitudes, if these are current amplitudes, then complex numbers sum of currents equals 0. Understand? Or if I1 and I2 and I3 are instantaneous currents, then we don't take these like complex numbers, then we take these like scalars only, or we can say we take these like just real numbers which can be positive or negative, but they cannot be complex. Somewhat. Then sum, not complex number sum, then we can say just usual scalar sum of instantaneous values. Yes, currents equals 0. Understand the difference? When we want to treat this like complex number, then if I take this like current amplitudes, then I can still say KCL will be valid, but it will be valid for the peak values of the currents. If I take it like complex number, means then I have to add vectorially. For example, if one current is 2 amperes, but it is real current, and other current is 3 ampere, and it is imaginary current 3 J cap, or one is minus 2 J cap, and one is minus 2, and one is minus J cap. What is vector sum of all this, or complex number sum of all this? Complex number sum of all this is 0. How many currents are there? I1, I2, I3, I4, and I5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5, yes. And what do these represent now? What do I mean if I say that I1 is equal to 2 and if I say I2 is equal to 3J? What does 3J mean? 3J means that I2 value is 3 sine omega t
Omega
plus
t plus pi by 2.
pi by 2. Yes, because J cap means along pi by 2 direction. If it is minus J, what does it mean? That will be, you know already, 3 sine omega t minus,
Minus pi by
sorry,
2.
2 sine omega t minus pi by 2. If it is minus 2, what does it mean? It simply means 2 sine omega t plus pi. 2 sine omega t plus pi. So these J cap terms are giving us the direction of the phase. And if I add all these, then I get 0. Without even knowing what are the instantaneous values, I can still get the answer by this KCL will be valid even if I take the peak values. I can take the peak values. Similarly for voltage also, I can take, if I take these like complex numbers, then these will be peak values of V, I, etc. But if I take these like real numbers or normal scalars, then at any instant, some of these will be 0. Okay. So KCL, KVL are valid instantaneously, and these are valid on an average. Both ways these are valid. But when we take on an average or when we take with peak values, in that case, I will have to take vector sum or complex number sum. Come back to this. Why this complex number notation comes into picture? What is the reason for that? I will give you the reason now. Is there any way that what is IC here? IC is VR by XC into sine omega t, sine omega t, sine omega t. Tell me what is it? Sine omega t what? Sine omega t, omega t, omega t, omega t. Tell me what I should fill after that. Fill the space. It is not VR, it is VC, it is VL. Voltage across inductor. VR, VL and VC are all equal to V0 in our last example. From here you can get idea what is happening.
Yes, sir. VC plus pi by 2 leads.
It will be leading, current will be leading here, and here current will be lagging,
Minus pi by
minus pi by 2. And here nothing, just zero phase only. Right, this is good. Now, is there any other way to represent it? Yes. Other way will be in phasor diagram or as a complex number. Can I say that this is nothing but VR divided by R into e raised to power j into 0. This I will say VC by XC into e raised to power j into pi by 2.
pi by 2.
This I will say VL by XL into e raised to power j into minus pi by 2. Is it okay? Now, don't get confused here. You may think this equal means not equal. It is implies, I can say, this implies this. This implies IR is this. We can say. Why I'm not saying equal? Because it has different purpose. Its purpose is to find exactly at what times what are the values of IR. Its purpose is not for that. Its purpose is to just deal with not instantaneous values, but deal with the peak values. And why we can deal with the peak values? Because KCL and KVL and KCL etc. can be applied even by taking peak values. Only change that I have to make is I don't have to take this magnitude wise, but I have to take this like vectors or like complex numbers. If I do that, then KCL and KVL will still be valid. We can easily prove it. Right now I'm telling you without proof, but we can easily prove it that KCL and KVL will still be valid. So does it not offer us advantage? It is difficult to deal with such quantities, but it is easy to deal with just adding complex numbers, right or not? Therefore, we will change it into complex number form while solving. We will change into complex number form. And let us further verify, is it right or something we are doing wrong? I can write it this also. This I can write VC upon, I think, minus j into 1 by omega c. And this one I can write as, this I'm writing mod. Then I'm writing it as VL upon j into omega L. Is it okay? Okay. In general, if I have equation A sine omega t plus phi, I can simply represent it as A into e raised to power iota phi or j phi. It is as simple as that. And reason I told you, because if I have to represent A sine omega t plus phi, how to represent in a phasor diagram? I will draw a reference line first. Let me tell you how we do this. Draw a reference line. What does the reference line indicate? It indicates 0 degree phase here. What I will do after that, I will take, with respect to this, I will take a phase of phi phase. This is phi. It has amplitude A. And you already know that this complex number is nothing but it is equal to A into e raised power j phi. You know about it or not?
Yes, sir.
This is A into e raised power j phi. Therefore, this thing, when it can be represented as a phasor diagram, that phasor diagram can be written as this. From here we get phasor diagram, and for phasor diagram we ultimately write it like a complex number. I could not do this in 11th class. At that time you had not finished complex numbers. Otherwise I could have taught you there also. But now you are aware of complex numbers. In 11th class I stopped here. I just gave you idea why we can write sine omega t plus phi like this. Okay, but I did not tell you how we can represent it like complex number. Now you know that we can represent it like a complex number. Then don't you think that I can say resonance is a complex number also, but it is a complex number with a real part. Ultimately I can say it is this 0 degree here. It's also like a complex number only, but it is a complex impedance with real part. This is also a complex number, but it is a complex number with minus of negative imaginary part. It is a complex number. This means XL, XC, and XR. These are all complex numbers. So if I have to take R plus XL plus XC, this is R, this is XL, and this is XC. What will be R plus XL plus XC? This will be just R plus J into omega L minus 1 by omega Z. What we call this thing as? We call it as complex impedance. What we call it? Complex impedance. So if we know the complex impedance, we can easily get the current. We can easily get the current. Wait a second. Where were we? 4 page. Excuse me. Let us say I have a resistance and inductance and capacitance all in series with this here. What is our equation? This is RLC. Tell me what is our equation? I have discussed in the morning, you remember? I have discussed it in the morning or not? Forced oscillation case.
Yes, sir.
So in that case, I used to write it as V naught sine omega t. And then I used to say like, what was the first term? First term was, I think, R. I'm forgetting now what was that first term. Let me see what was that. What was that? This one, not this one. Before that only. This one was the equation, right? Q naught by C, then RI naught, and then okay. This one I'm carrying this diagram completely copied from here. Taken to AC. This is what we were getting, right? Now, you know already that I can take these like vectors. So I can take these like complex numbers also. Complex numbers are also, they follow the parallelogram law of vector addition. They follow everything in 2 dimension. So I can treat these like complex numbers. So I can say that this complex number plus this complex number plus this complex number plus this is equal to this complex number. Finally, we can do that. Okay. I think This is enough, and then wait a second. Let me take in another way now. What is current here? Let the current be equal to I naught sine omega t plus phi, or okay, plus phi. I'm assuming it to be leading. What do I get then? I get equation as at any instant. What will be the equation? Minus plus. Write the equation of KVL. KVL at time t. We can apply KVL at a particular time. We will write V naught sine omega t minus I naught sine omega t plus phi into R minus, what is L into di by dt? What is L into di by dt? Minus L into
I not cos omega. I not omega. Cos omega.
Omega into cos omega.
that is L into di by dt. Okay. Then after that, what is next term? We start with V naught sine omega t, and we wrote minus I into R, and then we wrote minus L into di by dt, and then here plus minus plus minus plus minus. Also minus q by c is equal to 0. How to write minus q by c? I have to integrate I. What do I get after integrating I? I think I get I naught by omega
Minus I naught by omega.
Yes, this is equal to 0, right or not? We are getting this. And how we are getting that? First we assumed, what we assumed here? We assumed, let the solution be, let I be equal to, this was not given to us, let I be
By
equal
C
to I
also
naught.
will be there.
Huh?
In the last term, I naught omega by C.
Yes, right, by
omega.
C, by, correct, only by C will also be there. Now you notice one thing here. This is by assumption. Why? I told you that because the differential equations have unique solution. It means even if I guess the solution in the beginning and then I see whether it satisfies the equation or not. If it satisfies the equation, then it will be treated as valid solution only. So first I guessed it. I wrote solution according to that. Now it can satisfy this. Yes, it can satisfy depending upon what phi value I have today. Then this is valid solution. We will be getting the proper result from this also. This will be treated as right solution. But how to get phase? Now, don't you think it is much more complicated to solve this expression unless we convert it into a simple, suitable, easy form of vectors? Then it will become very easy. If I take like vector, or and vector is also not good. I told you, vector is better than this solving this differential equation, and complex number is much better than vectors also. That makes the thing very, very simple. Let us write it like a complex number now. What I will do now, I will just write V naught, okay, minus I naught into R, because R is real number only. R is real, minus I naught is itself a complex number. What is I naught here? I naught is a complex number. Is there any notation of complex number? How do we represent complex numbers?
Z, sir.
Z is okay, but I cannot represent all variables as Z. That is unfortunate. I want to make my own notation only in this class only. If it is okay with you, I will represent this like this. Is it okay? These are complex numbers. Bad notation or whatever you think, but I cannot use any other notation. I was thinking maybe I will treat like vectors, or maybe I will write like vectors. Is that okay? But we will remember, even if I'm writing like vectors, but this will not be a vector, we will treat it like a complex number. Is that okay?
Okay.
So let me write like vectors only then. Let me write like vectors, but I will treat it like a complex number. But complex numbers in 2 dimension are like almost like vectors only, so no problem in that. I naught into, what is this term here? This term has phase phase something. What is a phase? I don't know what is a phase, but let me just let me write it as XL vector in the plus, not plus, again minus I naught into vector into xc vector is equal to 0. Simple. Then what I get I vector as? I vector I get as, finally this is I vector, I vector, I vector. I vector is simply V naught vector divided by R vector plus XL vector plus XC vector. Is it right or not? Okay, this is it. Now you may be thinking, sir, how are you dividing by vector? Vector division is not possible. That's why I said it is not vector, it is just 2D vector. It is like a complex number. We can divide in this, no problem in that. I can divide by vector, I can, because I will take it like a complex number only. Now you tell me, what was V naught given? V naught was given just V naught sin omega t. Means it is real. It is real only. Then I can write it as V naught into e raised to power j0. It has 0 phase because, or I could just write it V naught. You know, e raised to power j0 will be just V naught only,
One.
right?
One.
So it is 1 only, correct. Divide by, what is R? R is also always real. R is always real only. We know already that. We have discussed before that. Here we discuss it. See, this is magnitude wise equation is correct here. This is correct magnitude wise. But if I want to treat XL as like a vector and I want to treat XC like a vector or like a complex number, then I end up getting XL as j into omega L and XC I get as minus j into 1 by omega C. R, even if I take like complex number, I will be still getting it as R only. It is always real. This is always real and these are two always imaginary. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
why here j into omega L we are writing, sir, XL vector?
I'm getting from here. See, what is this thing here? See, from here to
It is
this.
minus.
No, understand one by one step. It is minus pi by 2, so I can write here minus pi by 2, right or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, because it is that, so don't you think I can write this thing as what is e raised to power j into pi by 2 will be equal to cos pi by 2 plus j into sine pi by 2, which will be equal to j only, right or not?
Yes, sir.
And what is this thing then? If it goes to the denominator, then in denominator it will become 1 upon e raised to power j pi by 2. Then that will become just 1 upon j only, right or not? Therefore, I replace it by j.
Okay.
And similarly, xc, if it goes to the denominator, then it will become this. Okay. Understood?
Yes.
It means XL vector is actually having this j multiplied with omega L, and XC vector is having minus j multiplied by 1 by omega C. If I treat it like vector, if I treat magnitude wise only, then this. Okay. Understood? Okay. Next. Come here. What do I get now? I get R plus j into
Omega L.
XL mod and minus j into XC mod. I told you if I treat XL vector separately, then mod, then it will become j into XL mod, and XC will become minus j into XC mod. What is XC mod here? And what is XL mod? Magnitude is equal to omega L, and its magnitude is equal to 1 by omega C. Let us write that, and then we get the net vector I, or net phasor I, or net complex number I. What is net complex number I? It is V naught. No, I'm not carrying it unnecessarily. Let us remove it. It is just V naught only. V naught divided by R plus J into omega L minus 1 by omega C. That is. Now you tell me, are we now able to get somewhere from here, or you get stuck? We are not stuck. We are not stuck. We can easily solve it now. I is equal to V naught divided by magnitude. Magnitude is R square plus omega L minus 1 by omega C square. What is this called as? This is called as magnitude of, I don't know, I forgot. I just told you everything. You understand the concept, but I forgot to name one very important thing here. What is V by I called as? What is V by I called as? Normally, till now, we used to call it as resistance. What we used to call it till now? Resistance. But now we will not call that. We will call V vector by I vector, or V phasor by I phasor as not resistance, but we will represent it by complex number Z, and that Z is called as complex impedance. What we call it as complex impedance. What is XL and XC called as? I think this I told you in the morning. These are called as reactances. Reactances. And what is Z called as? Complex impedance. What is the formula for Z? You may think this is the formula for Z. No, 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 no. This is only and only for just one case, when it is R, L, and C in series. I could have 1,000 other cases, millions other cases. Okay, there are infinite other cases. In fact, I could take this as R here, this as C here. Now you tell me what will be the impedance for this? R, XL, XC. Can you tell the impedance? I think you can tell. Just take like complex number and use the normal rules of the way we, for example, XL and XC are in parallel. I can say XL vector into XC vector upon XL vector plus XC vector plus R. This will be the net impedance now. Can you solve it further? I think J multiplied by minus J. What it will become? J into omega L into minus J into 1 by omega C divided by J into omega L, and I think minus J into 1 by omega C plus R. What is that coming out to be? J square. J square is minus 1 into minus 1 is plus 1. Then omega into omega is cancelled. Then it is becoming L by C, I think, numerator. What is denominator? Denominator is J omega L omega square LC
J omega square LC
minus 1 and omega C taken to the numerator, and 1 upon J can be taken out, this plus R. What is 1 upon J? 1 upon J is nothing but minus J. So it becomes R minus J into omega L divided by omega square LC minus 1. Are you getting same or not? Check for.
Yes.
So what is it called as now? This is complex impedance. This is complex impedance. What is this part as? This is resistance. What is this part as? This is effective reactance. Imaginary part of impedance is always called as reactance, and real part is always called as resistance. Even if, remember, even if real part has some terms in terms of L, in terms of C, whatever this term comes out to be, the real part will be effective resistance and the imaginary part will be effective reactance. Understood? Okay. So therefore, you can learn this if you want, because series RLC is just very basic circuit, but don't think that it will be always the impedance. It is not always, it is just in one particular case. Okay. No, I lost it. I was telling something and then suddenly I changed the topic here. But this is for your understanding only. I wanted to find out the current. Have I already got the current or not? I think not yet. This is not right. This is not equal to this. What I should have done here, I should have taken, oh, sorry, but it did. I should have taken rationalizing. If we rationalize a complex number, 1 upon a plus iota b can be written as 1 upon a square plus b square into a minus iota b. You know that or not? Okay.
Yes.
We will do that only. The same way means you already are familiar with this, I think. And I don't know whether you.
We will get correct.
That is correct. Magnitude wise only correct. But why are we even taking like complex number if I have to just find magnitude only? We are treating this like complex number so that we can get the phase also. Now this has information of phase. If I just write it magnitude wise, then the information of phase is lost. Understood?
Yes.
So now we are getting the complete phase also. So I can, let us say I did the calculation. They had given me omega L, etc., and I got the calculation, and I got it finally total as, even after multiplying this also, I got it total as I naught magnitude wise. If it is I naught total, what would I naught be? I naught would be V naught upon R square plus omega L minus omega C. This will be I naught. I have got I naught, but I have to multiply with J and phi. That phi you have to obtain. Till now you have not obtained yet. What is how to obtain phi? Very simple way. Very, very simple. just take tan phi equals this is minus here, so I will write minus of omega L minus 1 by omega C divided by R. This is tan phi. Okay, this is I value. Understood?
Yes, sir.
After getting this, they may ask you draw the phasor diagram. But remember, once I have already obtained here phase, then phasor diagram is very simple task for me. It is not tough at all. I will just take a reference line and I will take I naught and I will draw I naught like this here, and this is reference and this is phase angle phi. But there may be mistake by this way. What is mistake? Actually, sometimes they want us to find out whether phi is positive or negative. Let us say this phi comes out to be positive, then I will take it in this direction. But if phi comes out to be negative, then I will take it in clockwise direction onwards. I may take it magnitude wise, means I may take the phase magnitude wise, okay, and then I may represent in the diagram properly. Understood? All right. Now this is done, and this also you understood. I think one last thing I will take, and then I will end this class here now. There are few terms which are important for you to know, to remember, and some of those terms I will take, like average and RMS value of anything. RMS value of something. What is average value of something? Some quantity, average value or RMS value of some quantity, I. I could be current, it could be I or voltage V, anything. For example, I RMS. That will be I square into dt integral upon dt integral under the root. Is it understood? You will not understood from here. You will understand. First, you understand average. What is I average? That I have told you
Integral
many
IDT by
times.
Integral DT.
This I have told many times before, that average value will be this. This is average value from 0 to t. This is 0 to t, right or not? This is 0 to t. What is the RMS value of RMS value? RMS later on. First average only. Similarly, what is V average? Voltage average will be V into dt upon V. Not V. Denominator does not have V.
Integral DT.
Integral dt 0 to t, 0 to t. But sometimes the quantity may not be continuous. This is for continuous quantity. If it is discontinuous quantity, means current may be like this: I1 for time t1 and I2 for time t2 and so on. Then what we will do? Then I average, let's call I average like this. Then I average will be I1 t1 plus I2 t2 dot upon t1 plus t2. It is like average velocity. You remember, in average velocity v1
Yes, sir.
t1 plus v2 t2. It is something
V1
like
T1
that.
plus V2 T2 by T1.
Exactly. So what we get then? We can write it as sigma ik into tk divided by sigma tk, where k varies from 1 to n. Okay, this way we can write. This is average value. What is ik here? Ik is, it is also average current. It is also average current, but it is average current for time interval, kth time interval, I should say. It is average current for kth time interval. It is also average current. So it may be sometimes these all may be themselves in terms of integrals. These may be like this: ik into dt, time maybe 0 to tk, something like this, 0 to tk interval dt. It may be like that. So these currents are themselves average currents. But if they are saying that it is a constant current for t1 time and it is a constant current for t2 time, then obviously the average is also equal to constant current. When current remains constant, then there is no difference between instantaneous and average, right or not? If
Yes.
current is constant only, then it will be same. So in that case, if it is a constant current, then I don't have to integrate and do all this. Even if I do that, what I will be getting? Integral I dt, if I is constant, I will be outside, it will be I into dt. Then it will be I into t only. and again divide by t,
Divide by t.
divide by t, divide by t, then
Cancel
what do
I
we get?
only get.
Tt cancel, we get I only. So therefore average will be same. But whenever it is not constant current in the given interval, then this refers to average current. Remember it. It refers to average current. So this is how we get the average values. And we can also say it is area under IT graph. It is area under IT graph divided by total time taken. Or we can also say it is charge flown upon time taken. Right? Net charge flown in any one particular direction divided by time taken. That is average current. RMS means root of mean of a square. Root mean square. So you take discrete currents, then I will discuss this one afterwards. If I have I1 current, I2 current, what is mean of square? Square means I1 square plus I2 square up to IN square divided by n. Is it mean of square or not? Mean of squares. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
And what will be root of that? Take root also. Then it will become sigma ik square divided by just total value n. Okay. Understood? Then this becomes I RMS. Here k varies from 1 to n. This is it. But here in this particular case, remember, and it is very important to know, here I1, I2, etc. are must be constant currents. Must be constant currents. This is not like average current of the first interval or average of the second, not like that. These must be constant currents of given interval, whatever given interval they are having. For that interval, this should be constant current. Then only this will be valid. It is somewhat different from the average currents formula. And if it is continuous, then this will become, I am doing some mistake here, I think. Sorry. No. What I wrote here is valid only if all the time intervals are also equal. T time interval, then time intervals will get cancelled out. All equal time intervals, then only this will be valid. Okay. But if it is not equal time intervals, then our equation will change. It will become IK square into TK divided by net time. Net time I will write sigma TK and root of that will be IRMS. Okay. And if it is continuous, then IRMS will be this. This will be IRMS. Tomorrow I will take the cases of the RMS values of different cases in which, okay, we have to get the RMS values like sinusoidal current. What is the RMS value of sinusoidal current? What is the RMS value of linearly varying current? All such cases, different cases I will take tomorrow. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
I am. Yes,
Sir,
ask it out, and then we will end it. Yes, ask
Sir,
it.
is there chance to become complex impedance 0, sir?
What complex impedance? Yes.
Complex
Complex impedance what?
0, sir. Is there any chances? In which case it
Yes,
will be 0?
yes. Only in one case it is possible. If resistance part is 0, there should be 0 resistance part first. Then it is possible. Otherwise, it is impossible.
Okay.
Okay. If resistance part is 0, then it can be cancelled. And I think you know the reason probably. See, what terms do we have? We have one term along real axis and other terms along J or minus J. But there is no term which can cancel this real part. There is no negative term of resistance. No negative resistance is possible. So these vertical can cancel each other, but how can we cancel the real part? If real is not existing and XL becomes equal to XC magnitude wise, then these can cancel and net impedance will come out to be 0. That is possible.
Okay.
And if net impedance is 0, then what happens? If you asked very nice question actually. I cannot stop it here now. Net impedance can be 0, as you said already. Net impedance is 0 if R is not existing and XL is equal to XC, and it is series LC circuit. Let us say XL, XC magnitude wise, these cancel each other and net impedance becomes 0. What is the current in that case? Let's find current. Current is equal to V naught by Z. What is the peak value of current? V naught by 0. What is that? Infinite. Current becomes infinite if there is no resistance, and that is called as that is resonance. In resonance, that will happen. Do you want to see whether it is resonance or not? Let us check once. Omega L is equal to 1 by omega C. Omega square is equal to 1 by LC, right? Why I wrote this? To cancel Z, to make Z 0, I have to take XL equal to XC, omega L equal to omega C, omega square equal to 1 by LC. So omega becomes equal to 1 by root LC. In morning, you remember I discussed this
Current temperature.
and I told completely different analysis at that time. See how different we did. At that time we wrote the value and then we differentiated also, I think so, and then we got that when the external AC is frequency will be equal to the natural frequency of oscillation, then the current becomes maximum. We are getting the same thing again. But by altogether completely different analysis. Understood? Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay, then we can end it now.